And he says, career's going great, but the rest of me is falling slowly. I wanted to have a conversation with you guys because I was at work when I read this tweet. And while I was driving, I was thinking, right? Is it harder to be an athlete today than to be an athlete, let's say, in the Mike Tyson era? Tyson had his demons, right? And once Tyson, in a sense, Customato died, he was having trouble kind of facing them, right? The cocaine, the women, drugs, just his self-image. Now, and we would find out about Mike Tyson in the news where we would say, oh my God, something came out in the paper where he hit a woman or whatever. He's been accused of rape. I'm sure that must have been a lot to deal with as a person in his early 20s. But now I look at Teofimo Lopez, right? I don't think we got Tyson expressing himself or just these stars like Roy Jones Jr., Mayweather, where they weren't making social media posts and could share their feelings whenever they wanted to. 2022, I don't want to look into this too much, but Teofimo Lopez says, what's up, Will Ryder? What's up, Trey? I see the message, Trey. He says, career's going great, but the rest of me is falling slowly. And I'm thinking to myself, what has gotten to Teofimo Lopez? Is it because he finally lost? Is it because it has, or maybe it doesn't have anything to do with boxing? And it's and his family issues and stuff at home. Yo, Von, thank you so much for the $20. A little love for all the hard work you do, my guy. Thank you, Von Blue, so much. I'll make sure I catch up with Chad in a little bit. Von, once again, man, thank you for the $20. Super kind of you, man. I promise, all the money that I'm making, I'm going to just throw it back right into this channel to grow it. But anyways, I was thinking to myself, let me know what you guys think in the chat. We see Ryan Garcia pulling out of a fight because of mental issues. Whether you believe him or not is besides the fact, right? He has pulled out of a fight because of that. Now you get Teofimo Lopez, who's kind of venting, in real time, where he's saying, you know what? I'm going through it. My family life is falling apart, so to speak. If you guys didn't know, about 2 weeks before his fight against Kambosos, which he lost, his wife left him. Who knows if he was there to see his child being born? Who knows the demons that he faces? I think this has a lot more to do with boxing. And he has talked about having suicidal issues and things of that nature. Jesus, look, I have another tweet posted up. He says, when I'm gone, maybe then I'll be appreciated. So I ask you guys this question. Is it harder to be an athlete today, or was it harder back then? We haven't been able as fans, which is nice, is pros and cons. We didn't have access to these fighters. We couldn't tell Mike Tyson to his face, millions of people, you suck every day, right? Where when you get on Twitter, someone is telling you, you suck almost every 10 minutes, right? I'm not exaggerating, right? Or you make a post, let's say you did something good for the community. There's someone in the chat that's saying, or someone in the comments on Twitter saying, oh, you lost that last fight. You're delusional. You lost all your belts. You'll never get them back. Do you think that has an effect on how Teofimo Lopez is feeling today? Or do you think it's more than that? Or do you think it was just taking his first loss? Steeler Nation says losing hurts, denying the better boxer won indicates he can't deal with reality. Denial stifles his forward growth. Cejudo and Dominic Cruz are masters of the fighter's mindset. Steeler, very well said. Because again, after the fight against Kambosos, what did we hear Teofimo Lopez saying? He was saying, I didn't lose that fight. I won 11 rounds to 2. In his own home state, he was getting booed. In his own home state, people were turning against him the day that he lost. That's a lot to face. That's a tough pill to swallow. Do you think he caused this, or do you think he has a mental issue? Should we excuse him? Look, at the end of the day, I have criticized Teofimo Lopez on the stream. I've made videos where I said he was scared of Lomachenko for not giving him the rematch. Now, looking back, guys, like I can be honest, and we try to be honest on here. I can admit and say when I'm wrong. I don't think I was wrong with what I said, but have I been a little too harsh on Teofimo? Maybe. Is he really going through stuff that maybe if he was fighting 20, 30 years ago, he wouldn't have to face? Maybe. You see a lot of people deal with depression. A lot of people deal with the outside noise. Some athletes could do it. Some athletes can't. I don't think it's just Teofimo Lopez losing. I think it was a perfect storm. I think it's his wife leaving him 2 weeks before his fight with Kambosos. He had a horrible game plan with his father as far as trying to get Kambosos out of there. And when that didn't work, his own father didn't give him the best advice. I'm just calling it like I see it. But at the end of the day, Teofimo Lopez has fought through it all. But, by the way, guys, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. It's a blessing and a curse to be prideful. It's a blessing because you have to kind of be delusional to make it to the top. Snipey, thank you for the $10. Donated 10 bones. Thank you so much. We're about to have Von Blue on here. I just wanted to quickly rant about this. Teofimo Lopez, it's just, in the time that he's in right now, you have to be somewhat delusional. Sean O'Malley to this day doesn't believe he lost a fight, even though he lost a fight. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of have to be somewhat delusional. But the problem is when you're leaning too much on one side. I hope Teofimo gets help. And look, he has 603 comments on this video or on this tweet. And I bet you most of it is, hey, you know, you pick your head up, champ. You'll come back stronger. Snipey, once again, thank you for the $10. You'll come back stronger. You know, you're better than this. You're gonna, you know, but I was just thinking, maybe that is not all that helpful when you've made it to the top. Trey said straightforwardly, let's be honest, some people not built for it. And would he have been better off fighting back in the day, Trey? Because when you have to face the music, and you know, I think a big thing is, and you know, I haven't reached Teofimo Lopez level. I haven't been a world champion, but one thing I will say, I'm assuming, I think he has to work on his circle, on the closest to on the people closest to him and around him, where he probably doesn't have the greatest circle. He's had family problems before. He has talked about his issues with his father, and he should, you know, fix those things. But maybe he needs somebody that could look him dead in his eye and be like, I don't know, you lost that last fight, you know, you can come back stronger. But maybe he doesn't have the circle that he needs. I just think in this social media age, it's so easy. It's so easy to get fake love. And that's probably what he feels like. Look at Caleb Plant, where he talked about, like, Caleb Plant, right? He said, whether you're broke, you're going to have problems. Whether you're rich, you're going to have problems. You know, but which one do you want to be? Of course, you would rather be rich than broke, right? The problem is, as a great man once said, Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems. And they're different problems. Some people can't handle the pressure of, now everybody's depending on me and I failed. I don't know if Teofimo is going through that. There's a lot of topics that we're going to talk about today. Let's get Von Blue in here. We're going to be talking about Thurman Barrios. We're going to be talking about Canelo versus Charlo. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. I would love to hear Von Blue's thoughts on this. But let me quickly catch up with chat as I call Von Blue. Guys, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to start with these rants in the stream just to kind of get a conversation going. Kind of think about certain topics related to boxing, and it's just quite fascinating. I'm calling you right now, Von. I hope you get it. Let me know if you do. In the meantime, I will quickly catch up with chat. Okay, perfect. He picked up. Let's see. Did he disconnect? Oh, cool. All right, let me Perfect. Are you going to be having video today? It'll be
Yeah,
great if
yeah,
you
yeah.
did.
I'm doing
Oh,
video.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I set it up in a different way. It should all be working, Von. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll work on it in the meantime while you share your thoughts. Let me see how it looks. Okay. Can you do the sideways thing or no? Is that
Yeah,
possible?
yeah, I got you. Oop.
Thank you. All right. And I can edit it in a way where I have
Yeah.
you in the center. Oh, that's perfect. Though. Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when. Oh, cool. Drinking on the job, Von Blue.
Oh yeah.
Bomb Blue's like, bro, you don't pay me, bro. Like, Bomb Blue's boxing, Big Wave never had that, man.
Oh yeah, a little big wave, a little Kona brewing.
Von,
White heat.
I was responsible, and I put your YouTube link finally in my description. And every time you're here on Thursday, it'll be there. Bomb Blue has his own channel, covers boxing, does great predictions. I truly admire him. What he does is that he actually makes great videos, and I wouldn't say that just to say it. But he's here right now. Von, thank you for being here. Can you share your thoughts on Teofimo Lopez and the tweet that I just showed on the screen? Just how you feel about it. If you disagree with anything, or
I think the thing, my thoughts on it is like Tio is a young dude, and he's had a ton of success early in his career. What is he, 24, 25 years old?
Roughly,
he's really young dude. I mean, I'm 36, so that's a young dude guy to me. He's 24. Right. He's became unified or undisputed lightweight champion in 16, 17 fights. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the pressure of having that success, trying to take care of your family, you got a bunch of hands out, you got everybody, on your back, and then him being a young guy getting married really young, trying to adjust to that, and his boxing career is not easy being a boxer and being married. And I think, didn't Tio have a child?
He did. So what I was saying is that 2 weeks before the Cambosos fight, where who knows if he was there for the pregnancy, like for the birth, we don't know because she left before.
See, and then that's like, that's weighing up. That's another thing, his wife was pregnant. They break up. It then dealing with the pressure of his father, because Tio Pops be talking. And that's just how it is,
Blessing and a curse.
Right. Blessing and a curse. It's a positive that it brings him publicity and things of that nature, but it also puts the pressure on him because he's the one that's got to go lace up the gloves and step in that square circle. You know what I'm saying? And just dealing with the whole thing, his mom, his sister, having to deal with that. And, they disapproved of his marriage with his wife, his father and mother. Yes. That was very difficult on him. And then he moved up from Brooklyn. He moved to Arkansas. So he moved down south to get away from Brooklyn, move where his girl's family's from. You know what I'm saying? He tried to make those things. So I just think it's just the pressure of life, being 24 years old. I think we all been there because we all been 24. You know what I'm saying? I just think the pressure of life and having the success he's had so early in his career has it's causing some issues, and taking a tough loss is always hard in boxing. Anything you do in life is tough. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making excuses for him, but and then like you said, you was talking about like back in the day, boxers didn't have people on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube talking about them. If you wanted to talk about a boxer, it was done in the barbershop. It was done in the streets. It wasn't done on social media and the internet because everybody got opinion nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And so it's different because now, he posted something on Twitter. He got a bunch of dudes who couldn't even last 5 seconds in the ring with him talking about him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's constantly every day. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, for example, Joe Rogan has talked about he doesn't even read comments. Maybe Teofimo doesn't, but these young cats most of the time do.
They do.
What I mean? Like the Teofimo Lopez's, the Ryan Garcias, the Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, they're 26, 25, 24, 23. These guys was born in, the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So they, the social media and the internet is huge for them. You know what I'm saying? Compared to somebody like me that was born in 1985, 84, 83. Our boxers, those guys, most of the guys my age, they're retired or they're coming close to the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was a different era when they stepped in boxing in the 2000s and things of that nature. Social media wasn't as big. So I just think with Tio, it's just pressure of life, man. And I think he'll get through it. As life goes on, Tio, you'll get through that stuff, bro.
I respect him, man. No, our love out to him. Now, like you said, he's only 24 years old, and
Mhm.
I don't know how much relevance this has. I think it was on the Chris Mannix show that I was listening to. I'm not quite sure, but anyways, they were saying, Von, tell me if there's anything to this. Mike Tyson, Zab
Hold on.
Judah.
I'm listening.
Yep. Mike Tyson, Zab Judah, Teofimo Lopez, right? What do they all have in common? They're from New York.
Brooklyn.
They're all from Brooklyn, and they all got famous early in their careers. Now, we talked about the age thing. Do you think the whole New York thing has anything to do with like these, these stars that come from New York that, mentally break down in boxing? Yes.
Well, I think the thing is from guys from Brooklyn, like guys like Mike Tyson, guys like Shannon the Cannon Briggs, Teofimo Lopez, Paulie Maggiani. They come from a pedigree of a lot of guys from Brooklyn have been very successful in the sport of boxing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn is very prideful when they box in Amanda Serrano. That's another one. They're extremely prideful. Brooklynites. They, because they've had a lot of success in the sport. And so that pressure comes with it. Also is from there, Edgar Berlanga. He's from Brooklyn too.
Right.
So the pressure comes. I mean, you can see it. All the Brooklyn stars come out when they fight. Tracy Morgan, all these big dudes from Brooklyn, Jay-Z, all these, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of pressure being from Brooklyn, and being successful in sports. It's things of that nature.
And maybe that's why as quickly as they rise, not saying Teofimo Lopez fell, but as quickly as they fall mentally or they have this kind of dip in their career, where they're just like, they take a loss and they kind of, fold into or just find themselves in a pattern of losing in various aspects, like his whole family issue, losing his first fight of his, professional career. That's a lot to take at once. But how do you see it playing out for Teofimo? Do you think he, what do you think is his best options to move forward? Before, there's a lot to talk about. There's Thurman, Barrios, Charlo, Canelo. But just quickly, how does Teofimo Lopez move forward? Is he going to be all right? How do you feel about the whole situation?
I think he'll be fine. He's 24 years old. These are things that happen in life. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I think he can bounce back from a loss. I don't think, and also, I mean, his thing with his relationship with his, estranged wife, him and his wife can, work that out. Even if they don't stay with each other, they can figure out how to co-parent, how to move forward in their lives. You know what I'm saying? This is not nothing that ain't happened in society. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They just got to learn, okay, maybe we didn't work out as a marriage. Let's work on co-parenting. Let's work on raising our child. Let's put our personal feelings to us to the side and let's take care of our child and let's do what's best for them because Tio going to take care of his child. You know what I'm saying? Regardless how the situation go, he's going to take care of his child. It's just time for him and his wife to say, okay, you know what? And also from his wife's point, she had the pressure from his family too. His mother, his sister, his father, that's tough on you. When your in-laws don't want you to be with that, man, that's a tough feeling.
I don't want to get too much because I don't know what's going on, but so I don't want to get too much in his personal business, but that I feel like that's something, all that to say, I feel like that's something that I don't know, his parents and the older people around him, that's his family. Why not just help him? If you don't agree with it by kind of, pushing his wife to the side, that just doesn't help. Try to make it work at least. Yeah, it seemed like they weren't, and he's 24 years old. He has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Yeah,
because he's the breadwinner of the family.
And so you think that has some Von, I don't mean to interrogate you. You think that has something to do with because he's the breadwinner of the family, that's why they felt like she was infiltrating on that, or do you think they simply don't like her?
I don't know. It's one of those situations. I don't know when it comes down to that because I don't know what goes behind closed doors. But T.O. being the breadwinner of the family and being, having his career and things of that nature, they need to understand that he has a life outside of that too. His family and boxing, he has a right to marry someone and be in love. And regardless of what you think about this person, it's not your position to tell him that. You know what I'm saying? He's a grown man.
Great point.
You know what I'm saying? And he's the breadwinner. He's putting food on the table, clothes on y'all back, and roofs over y'all head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if the family's so much involved in this relationship, let that young man live his life. Let him make his mistakes on his own. He's a man.
He's a grown man.
Let him live.
Not only that, I do have sympathy, whether you can call it soft or not, for people in the limelight, just as much as I have of people that haven't really had anything, because those are different world problems that they.
Yep.
The reason why I feel
Totally
like they
different.
struggle is because they have a tough time relating to people. So it's hard to listen to someone that you don't relate, like that you can't relate to. Who's gonna tell him how to deal with his problems when they haven't even faced those same issues? You know, so that's tough to do, right?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, you're not in the limelight like he is. You don't have millions and millions of people on your Twitter and Instagram always talking about you. People on YouTube and Instagram talking about your life, like we doing right now. I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that type of pressure. You might have your own pressure, but you ain't got that kind of pressure. You ain't got the public eye pressure. That's a different ball game.
It's a different game, and you know, I remember Mike telling somebody one time in an interview, like, you can't walk a day in my shoes, you know,
because you can't.
Right. So it's just different kind of problems, different kind of, you know, issues. Jesus says it is easy to criticize, but can you do what the boxers do? Great point.
No, you can't. You would, if you could, you would be doing what they doing. Shout out to Izzy on that comment.
It's just a different ball game. Beta says Teofimo keeps a small circle to keep more money in his pocket. His father is still his biggest partner in business outside of the top rank guys, which is good for him. If that's the case, then I'm happy for him. What's up, Zelme? Welcome to the stream. Trey says problems at home bleed into everything. If it's not going good at home, it's not going to be good anywhere else.
Thank you. Yep. And Trey 100% right.
All you got is family, and when you don't got it, then it's over for you mentally. And that's probably what's
Trey is right on that. Trey
at the
right
end
on
of
that.
the day, you want family. You want, you know,
community. None of that money shit don't matter. I mean, yeah, because once you start getting money, it's a different ball game. Once you start getting money and you got used to it and you did everything you wanted to do and all that stuff, that shit don't matter. Ain't nothing like having family and love and friends. Family and friends is you can't take that away from people.
Guys, if you're younger than, you know, 30 here, and not saying that you don't know better because you're younger, I'm just throwing this out there. When you get to like our age, me and Vaughn and stuff, you start realizing like what really matters in life. You start seeing your nephews, your niece, your little cousins. Next thing you know, they look like grown men, and you're like,
oh, both of mine is grown now.
Right. So you start thinking like, wow, like life comes at you fast. Then you start wondering what really matters in life. Maybe right now, Teofimo is 24 years old. He's got everything he thought he wanted, all the belts at one point, right? Even though he lost them, but he got it, all the belts, all the money. He's his own man. He's calling the shots as far as like what fight he wants. That all sounds good, but then when you realize you have everything you've wanted and you still feel empty, that's tough to deal with. That's very, very tough to deal with. So prayers out to Teofimo, you know, to his family, everything he's going through. I really do hope he gets better with the situation he's going through. Any thoughts on any last thoughts on that, Vaughn?
Yeah, just, you know, Tio, you're gonna be all right, young bro. You 24, bro. Everything will come to pass. It's gonna be all right. Just keep your head up. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine, man. Things will get better. Things will change, and like, you know, as you look back, it's a journey in life, Tio. Just look at it like that. It's a journey in life.
No, I absolutely agree. Trey said, me and Vaughn agreeing the Lord is about to come back. What's it called? The last thing I'll say about that is, like, if it's possible, Teofimo Lopez, not that you watch us, but if somehow my words get to you, what I would say is try to fix the family stuff, because at the end of the day, if you don't have peace of mind at home, like Trey said, is always going to bleed
everywhere.
Is going to bleed into the things that you got at home. You or the things you do, and I think that's what's going on. It's a case of that, you know. He is just things piling up on him, and he's going through it. I just wish him well. I wish that he gets better. All right, moving on. I've been dying to talk about this. Thurman, Keith, one-time Thurman, Mario El Azteca Barrios. The man, the myth, the legend, Keith, one-time Thurman is coming back.
I'm listening.
He's 29-1, 22 knockouts. The only man he lost to, although he was a bit older, is the legend himself, Manny Pacquiao. He comes back this Saturday. Of course, we'll be covering it. I have a lot to say as far as like who I have winning. I would love to hear Von Blue's thoughts
on this fight.
What do you think about it? Even before you give your prediction, what do you think about this fight?
I think it's a good fight in a sense of like people are thinking like, okay, this is just a fight for Keith Thurman to get back into the center ring, and they think it's a comeback fight. My thing is with Keith Thurman, my biggest issue is it's like, man, these layoffs. You've been off for almost 3 years. And your fight, yes, he lost to Tank Davis at 140 pounds, but Mario Barrios is 5'11", 5'10". And he's coming up at 147, so he's not draining himself as much as he would at 140. And the thing is like he has size, he has height, he's got range. And Keith, the last time you had a long layoff, you fought Josecito Lopez. You didn't look so hot against Josecito Lopez. No. You didn't, Brody. You didn't. And now you coming in here with a dude who's been active. Yeah, he was stopped by Tank Davis, but he's been active. He's been fighting. And we seen about 2 weeks ago with Gary Russell and Mark Masayo, keep taking them long layoffs, it's going to come bite you in the butt.
Yeah, the Gary Russell's a good point. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I seen it even with Beterbiev and Marcus Browning. Beterbiev won the fight, but he didn't look good. Beterbiev didn't look as good. You can't keep having these long layoffs and think that you just going to come in here and just wash these dudes because it's Mario Barrios. It's going to be a tougher fight than what people think. And I know people are tripping about the pay-per-view price and things of that nature, but the card is not as bad. It's not super bad. Like, I know it's like, oh, well, Mario Barrios got knocked out by Tank Davis. But Keith Thurman ain't been active like Gervonta Davis. He's not 27 years old like Gervonta Davis. He's not coming off of long, extended injuries. In the past 5 years, he's fought, 2 or 3 times?
Keith Thurman is 33 years old. And to your point, you said he didn't look great against Josecito Lopez, right? That was a majority decision.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so Danny Garcia split decision, right? Josecito Lopez majority decision. Then he loses to Pacquiao, where at one point he was dominating. I'm talking TKO after TKO, unanimous decisions against Robert, Guerrero.
One time when Keith was Keith.
He was living up to his name.
Yeah, he was.
And he's such a character where he's fun to watch, even like behind the mic.
Very marketable.
Very marketable. But like you said, so Josecito Lopez 2019, and then Manny Pacquiao 2019 hasn't fought since. Like you said, these long layoffs. How much that affects him? It affects him quite a lot. Now, I'll touch on the other side before we give our predictions of Von. Mm-hmm. Now you throw in someone like Mario Barrios. Granted, he hasn't fought people like Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Luis Collazo. He hasn't fought those guys. He was undefeated until he fought Gervonta Davis, and he lost by TKO, right, in the 11th round. He was losing the fight, but on the scorecards, they weren't that widespread. It was 92-96 on the scorecards on 2 of them.
It wasn't bananas.
I remember Floyd Mayweather telling him, you could possibly be losing this fight. You got to knock this kid out.
Real with him. Because it was like, some knockdowns. Yeah, those knockdowns is what had my boy Tank ahead.
Yep. But it was, as far as boxing strictly, they were having a competitive fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not tonight, Will Ryder. Welcome to the stream, by the way. So you all that to say, this is Mario Barrios' first fight at 147. So he's moving up. That makes me a little hesitant with Barrios. It's his first fight coming up, and it's after a loss. Those two things worry me a little bit, but he's big for 147 as far as height. He's taller than Keith Thurman. He's bigger as far as like height wise. Whether he can use his reach, he has Virgil Hunter in his corner. With all those factors that we talked about, Keith Thurman with the long layoff, like you said, Von Blue, Mario Barrios being 26-1. If you want to share your thoughts on Mario Barrios and your prediction on this fight.
Well, my thoughts on Mario Barrios is good little fighter. Good little fighter, man. Got some good boxing skills, intelligent dude. Got some pop in his punches. Smart fighter. I do think, like if I said in my prediction video, I think Keith Thurman wins this fight, but it's going to be very close. And I think there'll be some questions about Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? I seriously do. I think people are going to question him in this fight because I think Mario Barrios is going to give him a really competitive fight. I think Keith wins very close.
Does he need an impressive performance for people to start talking about? Because at one point they were talking about him and Errol Spence, your Dennis Ugas, the top Terrence Crawford, the top welterweights. Does he need to be competitive? Plugs, he says Keith's hairline, though. What a savage. Beta says, as well as being an analyst, which seems to be a curse of fighters in Thurman's age. That's another thing. He's been doing a lot of things outside of fighting. All that to say, does he need to dominate Barrios, or is a win simply enough, Von?
He needs to dominate Barrios in order to get his name back in the hat, to get the Terrence Crawfords, the you possibly winner of Udonius Ugas and Earl Spence. He needs a dominant win. He needs to let the people know that Keith Thurman, in the words of Roy Jones, y'all must have forgot. And they from the same area in Florida. He needs to, we need to know that Keith is still Keith Thurman. Like, we need to see the fire in his belly again. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Like, he needs an impressive win. It can't be close. Even though I think it's going to be very close, it can't be. He needs to go in there and put him out.
If he has a lackluster performance, I think it'll be really bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's quite important. Now, so how do you have this fight playing out? Do you think it's going to be close?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get final prediction?
Yeah, that's my final prediction. Even on my prediction video. Yeah, very close. It's going to be a very close fight. I just think the layoffs on Keith Thurman and the injuries is just, I don't know what Keith Thurman I'm going to see.
So, Von, this is where, 10 years down the line, people will make fun of me for my takes, or I'm right. I'm going to go the opposite route a bit. I love Keith Thurman. I think, what might be better for boxing is for Keith Thurman to win, right? Then he's in the conversation again, against a Crawford. Right.
He's rejuvenated.
But I look at Mario Barrios. I saw the way he took this loss. I saw the way he took this loss. He took it quite well. He looks humble as a young fighter. He's moving up to 147, which I believe he said was long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
With all that, I can see Barrios pulling off an upset, especially with all the upsets that we have seen lately. I'm going with Barrios in an extremely competitive, close fight. The same way we were talking about Teofimo Lopez earlier. The same way we saw Teofimo and Kambosos. Nobody at all imagined Kambosos would win. So when it comes to Barrios, people give him a chance, but not really. They'll say he's a good fighter, but we have Thurman. I have a feeling an upset with the long layoff. Thurman doing a lot outside of boxing as far as not fighting in the ring. The last fight that he has had was in 2019, July 20th. I'm going to go with Barrios. What do you think about that, Von?
You're not too much off. If I'm taking Keith with a close decision, you're not off at all. It's starting, the people starting as the fight gets closer. As the fight gets closer and closer, yeah, I can understand why people are taking Mario Barrios, because the biggest issue with Keith Thurman is these layoffs, man.
Yeah.
It's these layoffs. You're an extremely talented fighter, but damn, you can't not box for almost 3 years and have 3 fights in almost, 4 or 5 years and think you just going to come in here and just knock these dudes off. Like Mario Barrios is, he lost to Tank Davis, but he's been active, and he fought a young, fresh, prime fighter in Tank Davis.
I was actually impressed. I know it's funny, but I was impressed despite him losing.
Yeah,
to fight because I think Davis is that special.
Yeah, I was impressed with Mario Barrios. Even though he lost that fight, I was impressed. I was like, man, dude came to fight. He had a good game plan. He tried to implement it. It's just Tank is a special fighter.
And if he dealt with Davis' explosiveness,
Mhm.
his youth, even though
His
we're going up to
accuracy.
140, right? His accuracy, people forget that Davis can actually box. When you throw in Keith Thurman in there, if he's not as explosive as Davis, which I don't think he is, he does have pop in his hands. He's been out for a while. The last thing that goes away is power, though, they say, right?
Yeah,
But
that don't disappear.
But when you throw in Thurman, if he's not as explosive as Davis, now with Mario Barrios having that experience, I think this is recipe in a sense for an upset.
Oh yeah.
I could be completely wrong, and Keith Thurman wins. We have seen Keith Thurman getting hit to the body as well too, and having his trouble with that, where people feel like that can be exploited nowadays. You throw in Barrios, a hungry young fighter. I really can see an upset. I'm going Barrios by decision.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not mad at that. I think that's a hell of a decision. I think it's a smart one too, because as it gets closer to the fight, a lot of people is like, Mario Barrios.
No, and we've been talking, Von, about the unofficial scorecards thing for the live events. Please, if you're available,
I will.
Saturday,
I'll be definitely available.
I would love to hear your scorecards after 3, after 6, after 9, and after 12. And we could just throw you in there and you'd be like, look, this is how I have it after 4 or after 6, whatever you want.
Well, my name on there, you got to put Von Letterman.
I love it. If in between rounds you could tell us why you have your scorecards that way.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do Harold Letterman.
That'll be phenomenal. Trey says Keith Thurman is fried. If sometime shows up, we get an iffy decision, or one time shows up, I can see Barrios getting another TKO loss late. Yeah, I can see him getting knocked out to someone like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has a power. He has great footwork. He's a veteran, even though he's been out for a while. He is a veteran. I can see it being an upset, and it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm going Barrios by upset. This fight is made for Thurman to look good. Jesus says, it could seem that way. It could seem that way. I just don't think that's gonna be the case when it happens. Cambosos, it was in a sense to make Teofimo look good. A lot of people didn't take him seriously. I'm just saying, Barrios looks hungry, just as hungry as Cambosos did in that fight. I'm going Barrios. All right, let's move forward. We got like 2 more topics left before we get off. We're gonna try to keep
that
it
Charlo on Castaño too.
No, I have that on here. Let's talk about Castaño Charlo 2, which I thought the first fight was pretty damn close. I could have seen how it could have went to Castaño. How do you have Castaño Charlo 2 after their first fight?
I think the first fight is to be.
You're breaking up a bit, by the way, Von, just a little bit.
Okay. Good. Yes, I can see it. Kind of. Am I good?
Yeah, I hear you a little bit.
All right, hold on. Oh man. All right. Hold on. We good?
In the meantime, guys, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. You're just you're jittery. That's all. I see you, but you're jittery. Like
I could tell. Yeah.
You want me to call you again? You think that'll help? Like hang up and call?
I should be good though. I don't know. I usually do that. Let me see. Yeah, it is kind of. Shit.
I'm gonna hang up and call you back because I've had this happen to me in Discord.
Okay.
All right, cool. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we could get Von Blue back in here. Castaño Charlo. The first fight was close. We covered that live. The first fight was a lot better than people thought. Now, you're perfect now. Perfect.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be similar to the first fight.
Okay.
But I do think, my boy it's time.
You think Charlo's gonna put him out?
Yeah. I think he's going to bed this time. It's gonna be very similar to the first fight, but I think this time Mel's gonna keep that fight in the center of the ring. Castaño gonna leap into something, but it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I'm thinking about really honestly going. It's March 19th. It's in LA. I'm seriously thinking about going. I think either Charlo's gonna put him to sleep or it's gonna be the exact same fight.
I would love to fly out there, but with the YouTube, I'll probably cover it here. I hope you
Mhm.
go. If you do, please take pictures and all that.
Oh
Or
yeah,
I'll call you
I'm gonna
live
hit
on
you.
the stream where you
Yeah,
can like
for sure.
that.
I am.
That
I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna live call me. I'm gonna, hey fellas, look.
yeah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like
That
yeah, when I went to Wilder and Fury, Wilder and Ortiz too. Yeah, I got you. I'm definitely gonna
that'll
do it.
be fire. I mean, um, in that first fight, I think Castano did a great job of he kind of dictated the pace, and people
Well,
were surprised on the output that he was having.
I wasn't because I've been following Brian Castano for a
Yeah,
while, and it didn't shock me that he put up that type of fight. I've been like, if you look at my videos about
yeah,
Brian Castano, you go back to when Castano fought Patrick Teixeira
yeah.
on my videos, or when he was fighting Jamel Charlo when the fight was being announced and stuff.
Hmm.
If you watch him, I've been saying Castano is no joke, man. This dude is not like he's not an easy fighter to beat. He is going to be tough as hell because he does everything good.
The reason why I thought that Castano wasn't going to be able to set a pace that early against Charlo, and a lot of casuals thought this too, is because Charlo is known as being such like so heavy handed and he'll time you well.
Yeah,
So I'm like
and he hurt you.
right. So I'm like maybe Castano's gonna take his time trying to. No, he went out there saying
Well,
in a sense
defense.
like going for the kill.
Well, Castano's defense. You got to watch the fight.
He's slick.
His
He's very
defense.
slick. Right.
His defense allows him to push the pace.
Right, where he has plenty of output. He throws a lot of punches per round, but he's not sloppy or careless either. Right.
Very crisp, very sharp puncher. He's not.
Now,
yeah, go ahead. My bad.
I was just gonna say I'm in agreement with you where like I think this time I think Charlo was a little bit hesitant, gun shy in throwing punches in the first fight. I would have liked to see more Charlo throw more punches. I think this time after being in the ring with Castano, I don't know about putting him out, but I think he'll win a clear decision at least against because Castano's tough. It's gonna be hard to get him out of there, but I can just see Charlo in a sense learning from that first fight that they had, and he hurt Castano a few times. You know, Castano looked like he hurt Charlo as well too, but Charlo when he landed cleanly, Castano looked a bit
Castano
hurt.
was wobbling all over the ring twice.
I think Charlo sees that, rewatches his tape, knows he can hurt Castano, and he's gonna realize that and kind of just capitalize on it.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, like I said, I think it's gonna be like similar to the first fight. Either it's gonna be a very close decision, or I think Jamel Charlo gonna put him out this time. Like I think he's gonna use his jab a bit more. He's going to not, be on the move as much. He's gonna get, like I said, he's gonna get wet without swimming.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna get wet swimming. Yeah, he's gonna get wet without swimming. So he's not gonna take as many step backs. He's gonna boom, come back, reset, come back to the center of the ring. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna try to keep that fighter in the ring and use his height and range against a shorter fighter. Because one thing Jamel does really good is once Jamel gets that range, he's gonna catch you.
Absolutely.
He's going to catch you. Once he gets his range, once he get the range down you, or he starts to see what you're doing.
Great point.
Man, Jamel putting you to sleep. Once he see, you want to do this okay. Boom.
When he hurt Castano, then he was letting his hands go. The problem was he was like you said, once he finds the range, he was having a bit of trouble in the first fight finding it. When he caught Castano, he would let his hands go
because he goes for it.
Now, second fight, I think he's gonna find the range much quicker. He'll start to dominate the fight. In the later rounds, he might put him out. I either have it by a late round stoppage or a decision. If I had to bet, I'm going decision.
Yeah, that's a sensible bet. That's a sensible one. Decision.
Now, something people don't talk much about enough. We got 12 minutes, so I'm really gonna try to keep it to 1 hour shows because replay value. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor.
Can't wait.
On the same day as Shakur Stevenson and Valdez.
I'm a little upset about that though. I'm a little upset.
It was nice to see Stevenson. He was basically saying like, I hope they can kind of like stagger the times because females deserve like,
Oh yeah, Shakur got much love for the ladies. Him and Carissa tight.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't remember the last time I was excited much for a female fight. Just to be quite honest. Clarissa and Ivana maybe like, not too long ago. But for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, especially her getting like their highest paydays, this is big time.
Wait.
This is big time. I haven't been more excited for a female fight. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This is good that we're finally getting them their own main event. I actually like Katie Taylor a lot, and that's me being half Puerto Rican and, of course, wanting Amanda Serrano to do her thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
How do you feel about this fight? It's long overdue. Katie Taylor special, too. How do you call this one, Von? We haven't even talked about this, so I would love to hear your thoughts.
People are not going to be happy with me.
Here we go. You're not
people
going with the southpaw.
are going to be happy with Toy.
I'm scared. Go ahead. Talk to me.
I'm taking Kate Taylor.
Wow.
People are not. I know the Brooklyn Knights, my Puerto Rican peoples, they gonna
disrespect. No.
They're gonna be chicken grease with me, bro. I already know I'm getting
What makes you go with Katie Taylor?
See, this is the thing. I know Amanda Serrano got punching power. What scares me is Kate Taylor gets hit a lot. Her defense that's what makes me fearful of taking this pick. But with Kate Taylor, her being fighting at 135 most of her career, Serrano coming up 2 weight classes, Kate Taylor's experience and being a gold medalist and having that boxing amateur experience and knowing how to win rounds, I think that'll be key for her in this fight. She knows how to win rounds. And I got this weird feeling she's going to pull it off. But I'm probably going to be wrong because the problem is with Kate Taylor, she just gets hit too much. And Amanda Serrano, you cannot be letting her hit you like that. If Serrano catch you with something clean, she knocking you out. She's one of the hardest women's punchers ever. Her and Ann Wolf is up there. Her and Ann Wolf, hardest woman punchers ever in female boxing. Like, they put girls to sleep. They boom, boom. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what the, whoa, Amanda, you don't supposed to punch that damn hard. Damn. So, yeah, I'm taking Kate Taylor.
Wow. I mean, plugs. Shakur versus Valdez official. They were trying to lock down the Madison Square Garden. It pretty much is. It seems like that's going to be the case.
Yeah. I
would say, 85% chance, 90% chance the fight happens. They are roasting me in the chat. Zelman says Miller misogyny is running wild. Just call Miller Bob Arum at this point.
Oh, get him, Zell. Get him, Zell.
Oh, my God. And Beta said the last one. That's hilarious, bro.
I know. What's up, Bobby Arum?
I saw Bob Arum's quote, and he was basically comparing women's boxing to like premier football and all this stuff.
Yeah, he was like, it's like watching the women play premier. Would a woman beat a Premier League football team? No one watches women boxing.
Look, look. All right, let me play devil's advocate. Arum has a point. People don't watch. Just hear me out, Vaughn. Hear me out.
Bob, no Oscar Shakur fight. That's why he bad. Him and Eddie got beef right now. They do everything to screw each other over.
Trey says, I heard Amanda too occupied drooling over Jake. Jake in a sense got him. Yeah, you know Trey.
Trainer.
He got her the biggest payday. So shout out to Jake Paul. At the end of the day,
he got her his money.
Whether he has a hidden incentive of like just wanting to get back at Dana White, I don't even care at this point anymore. He's getting female fighters paid. Serrano, her first $1 million bag. Look, Jake, all respect to you. We can talk about Jake later in boxing and stuff like that. The disrespect that Von Blue has for Amanda Serrano to turn his back
I know.
On the Latina fight. No, I'm just kidding.
On the Puerto Ricans, the Boricuas. I know. I can't. I feel ashamed.
Listen, even though Katie Taylor is great, I saw her last fight against Sharapova. I thought Sharapova actually looked quite well, even though Katie Taylor won a unanimous decision.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Let me just throw some stats for you out here.
Dropped my prediction video yet,
right.
Guys. Hold on.
You might change your mind. I just want to say,
I don't even need to see the stat. Go ahead and put the stats up, but Serrano, and the problem with Katie Taylor, her defense is,
She only has 6 knockouts.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have the punching power, but she got that pedigree.
Amanda has 30 knockouts, Von.
But that's at a lower weight class.
True. But still, whether her power will carry remains to be known. We just know that she has it, at least in the division she's in. We know Katie Taylor doesn't, as far as only 6 knockouts out of 20 fights. The last time she won by knockout, Von, was, let's see. So I'm just looking it up right now. 2019. Damn, she's really active, actually. I had to scroll down for that, but it was 2019 the last time she won by TKO. And then before that, 2018. Amanda Serrano, southpaw style, in her last fight when versus Gutierrez, she hit her with everything in the kitchen sink. Wasn't able to put her out, but she gave Gutierrez her first loss. You saw Gutierrez's face after the fight.
Amanda punches hard.
Amanda punches hard. I promise you it has nothing to do with the Puerto Rican.
No, not at all.
Stuff.
You got reasons.
I think Amanda is a special southpaw fighter.
Putting her to sleep.
I don't think she puts Katie Taylor to sleep because of the going up in weight. Not only that,
Kate's no bum.
Katie's not a bum. I don't think she's gonna get put out. To give her first knockout loss, if Amanda Serrano's able to pull it off, that'll be phenomenal. I just don't think that's gonna happen. But I think Serrano's skill, her pop, and not only her pop,
she can box too.
Listen, this might be the weirdest comparison. I see Katie Taylor being a good boxer special. When I see Serrano, I see that kind of Gervonta Davis southpaw explosiveness. The comparison that I'm making between Serrano and Davis is the explosiveness factor. I think Serrano has that. I think she's going to get to the punch before Taylor. I think she's going to disrupt her in that sense. I'm going Serrano either by decision or late round stoppage.
Breaks her down.
But Von Blue picks Katie Taylor.
Right now, I'm picking Katie.
What makes you think? If you could just elaborate, I know you said you have that gut feeling, but like, why though?
Why? Because Kate has this. She's got a good boxing IQ.
I agree.
And she understands. She's seen everything.
Okay.
She's seen power. She's seen differences, different styles, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I just think with Kate's here, she's gonna know. She's gonna realize we got to take this away from her. We can't let Serrano push the pace. We can't let Serrano sit and push the pace and back us up. We got to be the ones dictating the pace of this fight. We can't let her dictate the pace of the fight, because if we do, she's going to KO us. So we need to dictate the pace of the fight. We need to outthink her. And the thing is, we need to see that this power is real. Yeah, it happened at those 2 lower weight classes you've been fighting at, but this is 135. This is the big girls. We need to see that power is for real.
No chance that Serrano outboxes Katie Taylor? Or is that what you're saying? She can only win by knockout?
I'm not saying only win by knockout, but
right.
Kate is one of those ones. She don't do nothing pretty, but she do everything well. Outside of her defense, that's what I'm worried about her in this fight, because I'm just like, defensively, she gets hit too much sometimes. And with a girl like Samantha Serrano, she start laying that leather on you.
So Trey goes, she's a woman. Their power is on some Charmin Ultra. Beta says, he goes, F Trey. And then he goes, he went from trainer to Trabib. I am going to use the Trabib thing for the rest of, remember the whole Ring Girls thing with Khabib? That Beta is on fire today, Trey. Trey's a savage, man. Trey, I can't wait. Maybe Tuesday we have
Can we send that tweet to Amanda Serrano? What he said?
We might have to. Von, I was gonna say next Tuesday, Izzy Whitaker. We're gonna do like our predictions. Hopefully you're there. It'll be me, Trey, and then hopefully you could. No,
Robert
stop
Whitaker.
it. Stop it. All right, look.
Nigerian
stop
and
it.
African. We do lullabies in Africa.
Stop
so
it.
we do a lot of them. in the motherland.
Stop it. You actually
we open
agree
up the
with
book,
Trey.
and Robert is gonna be.
Stop it. Robert Whittaker is winning that fight. We don't mean to divulge into the UFC, but I can't believe my ears right now. Von actually
that boy
agrees
sleeping in
with
Houston.
Trey. I'm actually disappointed. Von, okay. Before we get out of here, we're almost at an hour. It's starting to become a bit more realistic, possible, and it seems like that's what the fans want, and it even seems like that's what Canelo wants.
And Mr. Reynoso, too.
And Reynoso, I saw that. Canelo, Charlo.
Huge.
Is it gonna happen? If you had to predict, will it happen by I don't know, do they want the Cinco de Mayo?
I think it's just, it can happen. I think it's at a 75% chance of happening. Because, Canelo gonna get other offers from Eddie Hearn and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
But I just think for marketable standpoint, financial standpoint, it makes sense for Canelo.
It does.
Makes sense. Because Jamal Charlo's gonna play the bad guy. You already know Mexican fan base, they're gonna be, we hate Charlo. There's already a group of them that don't like Charlo, the Charlo brothers. So that's gonna even more stir the pot. You know what I'm saying? Jamal gonna talk that shit. He don't care. He gonna talk that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to sell. I just think it's from a marketable standpoint. Outside of Triple G, when you want to make money and marketability, that's the fight. Now, if you want ultra competitive, Bivol, Benavidez. But if you want a fight that you can make some money, draw the crowd in, you're going to have a good group of people in the African-American fan base. They're going to get behind Jamal Charlo. You already know they're going to play the Mexican black thing up. They do it all the time in boxing.
I was going to say, a country. Remember Floyd Mayweather when he was talking to, who was it, Brian Kenny?
Yeah.
He has a country.
Yeah, he ain't wolfing. He got a country behind him.
Right.
So they going to get behind, and Mexican-Americans going to get behind Canelo. The brothers, they're going to get behind Charlo. And they're going to market it like they've been doing in boxing forever. The Mexican versus the black fighter thing. They've been doing it forever in boxing.
A Mexican versus a black fighter always works.
Yeah, it's always works.
When you have pound for pound Canelo.
Yeah, pound for pound Canelo. And then you got the Charlo brothers. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching,
I just hope. What can stop this fight from happening? What do you think is possible that it doesn't happen?
Don't happen. I think the possibility it don't happen is that Eddie Hearn and Canelo's relationship
is not the best.
No, it's very good. Eddie Hearn and Canelo.
Leaving the zone.
That's Golden Boy.
Right.
And we forgot he did two to three fights with Eddie Hearn's DAZN fighters. Right. You know what I'm saying? We
why
forgot
do you think
about
Eddie
that.
Hearn will stop it? What
why I think it stop it is that the relationship and the money that can be offered. I think Al Heyman can offer more money.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing with Al Heyman is I think that with Canelo is if Canelo happens to lose to Jamal Charlo, them belts is gone. It's only a 1-fight deal.
Got you.
There's no rematch. It's probably not going to be a rematch clause in it. So that's a 1-fight deal. And you lose those 168 pounds to Al Heyman and Jamal Charlo.
Oh, man, that's rough. I saw Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn he was in an interview this week. He has great respect for Canelo.
Yeah, he loves Canelo.
His belief in himself. If he can make it happen, I would love to see that.
Yeah, PBC is business. Eddie Hearn wants Jamal. If he goes over and fight, Eddie Hearn wants to keep that relationship with Canelo. And he knows that he's got opponents that Canelo will fight too. And he can feel confident because Canelo's beat a lot of Eddie Hearn's opponents. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. We forget about those two that he fought. Both of those guys were Eddie Hearn. He fought them and beat them. You know what I'm saying? Right. Then he came over to PBC because they had the belt over there and they offered him a ton of money because Al Heyman and them, they got paper. People may not like PBC, but they got paper.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Al Heyman, he's like the guy that nobody sees.
He's
but
the ghost.
He makes the most moves. The ghost.
Yeah,
right?
He's the ghost that makes the ghosts make moves when you don't see him. So
absolutely.
I think Eddie Hearn has a possibility of pulling it off. But I think from a money marketing standpoint and just the old black versus Mexican thing in boxing, it's going to sell compared to him fighting Dimitri Bivol or fighting Triple G for a third fight.
The only other fight, we've talked about this before, that I would want to see more is the Benavidez fight. I would love to see that fight.
David Benavidez is, but
Yep.
it's not happening because
there's a lot of money in the Charlo fight too.
There's a lot of money in the
it's a
Charlo
competitive fight. It's a competitive fight.
It can be. I mean, if Jamal, I think the key for Jamal in that, go ahead now, because we're gonna lead up to that. Go ahead.
I think Canelo washes him, so I think it's competitive, but I think Canelo watches him. I don't see Charlo winning at all. Where Benavidez, I see him at least. I see him at least making it such a interesting fight, where he might get knocked out because of it, but I think he creates more problems than Charlo. I do honestly think that.
My thing with Charlo
his length and everything.
If Charlo's going to pull this fight off, he doesn't need to look at the Floyd Mayweather Canelo fight. He doesnn't need to look at the Lara Canelo fight. It's not even about that's not his style. His style is more straightforward. Right. He needs to look at that Triple G fight. Jamal needs to look at both of them Triple G fights, and that's the way he needs to try to fight Canelo Alvarez to pull it off. He needs to go for it and put the pressure on him. And one thing that I haven't seen nobody do, and I want to see him get tested in there, attack his body.
Attack Canelo's body?
Yeah. Attack his body.
I mean, easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done, but you got to test some new things. You can't, you got to bring something new to the table. That's slick, trying to move out of the way, stick and groove, move angle off. Nah, bro. You're not Floyd.
Lara, Triple G, Billy Joe Saunders. He has been in there with enough people where that doesn't work anymore. The slick fighters, Caleb Plant, he's starting to catch
those slick fighters don't have Floyd Mayweather's IQ and understanding of punches and where to throw them at and where to put them. They don't. Floyd is on a whole nother stratosphere.
I just think Canelo has gotten so much better at cutting off the ring. So maybe something like attacking the body might make the difference. You bring up a great point, but I mean,
I think coming forward and putting the pressure on him, fight him.
I just don't think Charlo can do that with Canelo.
I understand. I totally get that, and I do feel it kind of the same way too. But I do believe that Jamal Charlo needs to fight that Triple G fight. He needs to go for it. You got to stop giving this man this type of level. You got to go after him.
Yeah.
And Floyd didn't run and duck and move. Floyd fought him. Floyd kept him in the pocket. In the pocket and fought him in the center of the ring.
Too.
From the first round. Floyd wasn't running and ducking. Go watch the fight. People just like to say that because they don't like Floyd Mayweather.
No. That fight with Canelo, the first fight,
wasn't running.
I mean, the only fight with Floyd Mayweather, I remember he was wearing the blue and white, and as soon as the bell rung, first round, he was in the pocket with Canelo.
And what did Triple G do in the first two fights when he fought him?
Canelo did make adjustments in the second fight where I thought he won the second fight, but that first fight I had Triple G winning.
It's not even about the winning. That's the way you got to fight him.
That's the only way. I got you. That's the only way. Because, again, the whole Lara fight, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. You're not going to beat him in that fashion.
It takes a special fighter to beat him in that fashion.
I want to see Benavidez so bad.
David, I like David Benavidez. He's got all things, but I just think he has a style that can give him problems, but I think he stays his movement. There's no movement wise.
Gotcha.
That's the problem.
He had a tough time putting out his last opponent too, who was supposed to be right.
It's the movement, and it's the movement, and it's you can't just stand in front of Canelo the whole time.
No, he's not a moving target, and that's bad.
He
does throw a lot of punches, but
and those hands, and he drops his hands. His hands be down when he be boom, boom, boom. Them hands be down, and
so. Before we get out of here, Plug says, I hope Canelo doesn't fight Makabu because he looked bad in his fight.
Yeah, I don't want to see Canelo and Makabu. I just don't.
I wanted to see it before that because going up to cruiserweight would have been interesting. But yeah, I feel you. He's been doing it for 20 years. So Trey says, I know y'all seen what Eddie Hearn said about Dana. He's an icon. He says he kind of structures everything he does compared to what the UFC does.
So we're not even talking about Dana. Let's move on.
He did say that. He was like, I copy a lot of what Dana does. I respect it.
That's
the heavyweight
cool. I
division
don't.
is on pause because of the current champ and Jones not wanting to come back for pennies. But you are right.
I don't
You're gonna
want to.
tell the cartel that he lost? Hell no, they straight up kidnapped his family. You think they want to see Mexico lose a champ? Says Beta. What about Benavidez versus Andrade for a shot at the title? I would. Andrade is in limbo, man. Like
I don't
nobody
think
really
he's in
shows him.
limbo.
Nobody really shows him interest. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah,
He
because they
doesn't have
know
the
he's a tough
leverage.
fight.
Well,
Because
that's
they
what I
know he's
mean.
a tough ass fight. Of course,
Blessing
they're
and
not
a
going to show him
curse.
interest.
Right, blessing and a curse. Like he has to find a way to
Going up
get
to 168.
to talk. Right, he has to get people to talk about him, like something, because yeah.
Well, because I'm gonna tell you this. The thing is, when it comes to Demetrius Andrade, and I'm gonna say this,
Yep.
and I'm a Jamal Charlo fan.
Yep.
The fanboyism comes in with him because a lot of the top fighters and their fanboys and them discredit him.
Yeah.
They discredit him. The fanboys. He did this. He did it. Well, he's been a champion at this weight class. He's been a champion at the weight class of your favorite fighter.
Yep. No,
and I'm a Jamal Charlo fan. He at the weight class of your favorite fighter. He got a belt. It's 4 belts. It ain't 1 belt in boxing. It's 4.
No, it's so many divisions, so many belts. The alphabet belts. Rummy's Corner calls it. I saw your comment, by the way. I'm gonna respond to it, Bon.
Rummy, bro.
Bon was doing me dirty. He was like, "This guy thinks he's Rummy's Corner over here." I'm just, trying to start a conversation. Yo, Bon. We're at an hour 10.
Yeah, we good.
Let's keep doing this every Thursday if you're available. #1 boxing commentary channel. Now we're starting live shows. Like Zelmy said, #1 commentary and fight podcast. We're gonna keep growing this damn thing.
I see you, Zelmy. I didn't even get to
Snipey, thank you for being here. Have a great night.
Yes.
Saturday, Thurman versus Barrios. We'll be doing a live commentary. We'll be doing live calling in. So if you want to call in, share your predictions, we'll be doing that. If you're rewatching this video, thank you for being here. Von, any last thoughts you want to share with the YouTube? Also, his link to his YouTube is in the description of the video. Go check him out. Much love, Von. Thank you for being here. Any last thoughts?
Oh yeah, y'all check out that Thurman and Barrio fight. Come through.
$75.
Yeah, I know. That's that's
good
boxing.
on the card. Good on the card.
70. So come through. Come to MillerDC, man. Y'all come through because it's gonna be cracking. So y'all call in. We're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be fun, guys. And man, check out that fight on Saturday, man. Von Blues Boxing. You already know. And Trey, Oliveira's gonna be Gaethje.
Thank you. These are facts.
Rear naked choke. 3rd round.
I got it in the 2nd.
Ooh.
I got, bro. Von is absolutely
rear naked
right.
choke. He gonna test that ground game because Gaethje don't. Yeah, Gaethje forgot he used to know how to wrestle. Anyways,
Von says 3rd round. I say 2nd. Von, I respect it. I mean, great minds think alike. Trey.
Yeah, we know Trey now.
Trey is Trey, and like
Dana's
that means
bro.
something in itself. Trey is Trey, right?
Yeah, Dana little bro.
Yo, we love Trey. Trey, thank you for being here. Beta.
Oh yeah, for sure, Trey.
Beta, Andre might beat Benavidez. Just throwing that out there. Oh, but anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Von, thank you so much for being here.
Shout out to my guy Beta. Came through and showed me some love.
He's so helpful in helping the community grow.
And Beta, you know your shit, bro. When it comes to boxing, you know it.
Von losing his credentials immediately, says Trey. Von, much love, my guy. Thank you for being here, broski.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, bro. Have a good night.
We'll be back next week, and we'll be back this Saturday. You too, buddy. All right.
Peace.
All right, guys. So that's it. Trying to keep it to an hour. We were close to an hour, and I think the way I started it with the whole rant, I think you can watch this from beginning to end, and it's entertaining. So that's good. Let's keep making this happen. We're going to keep getting better. My dog is crying behind the camera, which is annoying, behind the scenes. I don't know why the wife won't take her upstairs. So I'm going to be like, yo, what's going on? And she's going to probably smack me in my head. I love you guys. I really think we're going to grow this. It's going to be one of those things. I'm sure when Joe Rogan had 3 to 4 viewers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 30, then 40, then 50, then 100, then 1,000, then 100,000. He started from the bottom, just like us. We're going to keep growing, guys. My dog is crying if you didn't hear her. I hope you guys had a good time. This Saturday, we will be covering the fights. Make sure you're here this Saturday for the fights. Thurman versus Barrios. You can call in live. Let's have a good time. Upset. Barrios beats Thurman. Much love, guys. Peace. Trey Oliveira, second round finish on Gaethje. Bye. Much love.
I'm Sonny Liston. I'm
Zelmay.
Jack Dempsey. There's no one like
Peace.
There's no one that can match me.
Yo, bounce guy, go off.